So I'm going to briefly cover just the basics of the scripts for the basic gameplay. Now, this is the section that for the game to work, essentially, this is what you would need. Now, there's other things, of course, that we would be adding after this point that would make the game more polished. So, like the animations. So, if you look on my script right now and you just watch my game as it plays, it's not gonna it's gonna stop whenever you hit the obstacle. If I jump over the obstacles, and there's some things that I'm just kind of testing here, but if it goes past it, it'll destroy the obstacle, so it's not overloading the CPU. So you can see I'll just do a quick demo and then kind of explain the scripts. So if I have my character here, again, I'm jumping. You can see that the character, as soon as it goes, it launches, okay, and then it destroys the obstacle. But when I hit it, the game stops, the background stops. And so the basics of this work, you can see that it says game over once I hit this, and then the game will stop. So in terms of gameplay, everything is working kind of how we want it to. Now, again, once the game is kind of like moving around, so if I zoom out of this, there's things here that I would definitely need to make sure that I added to make it a more polished game. It doesn't have sound effects or animations or any of that. But the game essentially works. So now we're at the stage where we're kind of just finalizing different elements. So if you go to Canvas, you can see that on this document here, I have this tutorial, and you can go and find the scripts on this document through this point. So you can see here it says full scripts through 3.2, and these are the elements of the game that you would be using. Now, if we look at the scripts, I'm just going to briefly explain what each of them is doing and what was added to get to this point. So one of the things is we made a variable for the player controller script. And this is important because when you make this variable, it allows you to access things that are in that script. Okay, so if we look at our player controller, you'll notice, as I've kind of shown you here, that this is public. The reason you make this public, besides being able to edit some of the things in the editor, is so that other scripts can access it to get in what essentially makes the game over script. Okay, so if we see this game over script here, or this variable, sorry, this variable that's game over, what this allows to happen is for us to access those things in other scripts to let us know that the game is over. So we have the tag, but we actually want other things to happen when it reads that tag. All right, so we have this variable here, kind of like the is on ground. We want that to be available for like the double jumps and things. So if we look at our move left script, for instance, this one as game over is false. So if it's false, which is kind of how it starts, then it will move the background. It'll keep spawning objects. It'll do all of those things to let us know that we can find it. You'll see that we have this game object dot find. So if we renamed our character player, which we should have, then it's going to be able to find this script and access those variables. So with this move left script that you see, this is what's going to destroy the game object, and you can see this here. If the position of the object is less than 15 and it has or less than negative 15, excuse me, it has this variable. If it has this obstacle tag, which we did in other activities, then it's going to destroy the game object. For the spawn manager, you're going to see something different. We're still accessing the script, and if it is false, it's going to spawn the obstacle, but if it's not, then it's going to stop it. We also have the player controller, which is something that we've been working on a little bit. And then we have the repeat background, which essentially um, will allow this to repeat. So the game over variable, basically, when it becomes true, everything stops, and we need to make sure, again, that this is public. If we change this to private, we would get an error because the other scripts wouldn't be able to access it. Okay. So again, if you're in my class, you would have access to the document, which is again right here. So you can see these are my scripts. But if I look at this and you're in my class, you can also see that I've posted these so that you can use them and kind of compare them to what you have.